Hi, today I'm so excited to bring you a quick tutorial on how to make your own sourdough starter. Let's get started. Jump for flying bugs, they find spiders. Hopefully I'll be able to get some squash. Hi, I'm Leah and this is my YouTube channel, Small Scale Homestead. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make sourdough starter on your own. All it takes is some flour, some water, and some yeast. Let me show you how. Some people might find making sourdough starter to be really intimidating. People have heard that it's just hard work to keep your sourdough starter alive and that there's just a lot to it that you don't understand. But it's actually quite easy. So don't be afraid to get in there and try it yourself. And in time, you'll be enjoying sourdough bread with your family. So we're just going to go ahead and add our 2 cups of flour. And then mix in your yeast. So it is 2 1/4 of a teaspoon of yeast for this amount of flour. Just whisk that into your flour. And next I'm going to gradually add 2 cups of warm water to the flour and yeast mixture. Going to try to get a little bit of those lumps out. Make it a nice creamy looking mixture. Creamy and smooth. Okay, that looks about right. Now I'm just going to cover my bowl, my mixture, with a cloth. I'm just going to set this aside on my counter in a warm spot for about 4 days until it starts to get bubbly and starts to smell a little bit sour. I just set mine next to my oven. It's usually pretty warm there. So I'm now ready to check on my sourdough starter after about 3 days of sitting on my counter. So let's check it out. It does look like it bubbled up, and it also has a slightly sour odor. I'm going to actually go ahead and leave it 1 more day, just so that it really gets sour enough to make my bread into sourdough. So it's now day 4, and so I'm about to take a look at my sourdough starter. Let's have a look. Gonna uncover it. Okay, so this looks about right. I've had it on the counter for 4 days. It definitely has a sour smell. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir it up and then put it in a jar to save on my counter. So before I put it all in my jar, I'm gonna go ahead and use some since I'm gonna make some bread right now. So just to try it out to make sure that it's sour for sourdough. So I'm just gonna take 1/4 of a cup because that's what my recipe calls for. And I'm gonna just add it right to my yeast mixture for my sourdough bread. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour it into my jar. And I'm gonna go ahead and replenish it by adding equal amounts flour and water right to the jar. I'll just add my warm water and then go ahead and give it a stir. Next, I'm just gonna fold up my cheesecloth and put it right over the top with a rubber band and let it sit. I'll go ahead and keep that on my counter and replenish it every day. Once your sourdough starter is ready to be put into the jar, it can be stored either on your countertop or in your refrigerator. If you choose to store your starter in the refrigerator, you're going to need to bring it to room temperature before each time that you use it. I actually choose to just store mine right on the counter, and I've had mine on the counter for over 6 months and it didn't grow any mold or anything like that, so it is completely safe to store on the counter. And each time you use your sourdough starter, you're going to need to stir in that little bit of liquid that's at the top before you use it. And then you can take out the amount that you need and then replenish it. So let me talk briefly about the process of replenishing and nourishing your sourdough starter. This is something that you're going to need to feed every day. So what happens is every day, in order to nourish your starter, you're going to need to take out half of it. And I prefer to use that half in whatever I'm making that day. Or you can take out that half and store it in the refrigerator in a separate jar and use it on a different day. But you're going to take out half of it, and then you're going to add in equal parts flour and water. You're going to stir that right up and cover it again with either cheesecloth or a towel and wait for it to bubble up again. The recipe book that I was using mentioned that if you're storing your sourdough starter in the refrigerator, then you're only going to need to replenish or nourish your starter about every 1 to 2 weeks. So that's something I haven't tried, but that's what the recipe recommended. I'm really excited to find out how this works out for you guys. Please let me know your experience in the comments, and I can answer any questions that you might have. If you want to see more tutorials like this one, subscribe to my channel and you'll find them there. Thanks so much.